Hey guys, I'm Mike back here for the video. Guys, let's talk about MUT 22. And what I want to talk about, guys, right away is how this next year MUT won't only define how Madden is going forward, but how much different we are actually going to see things in MUT 22. Because EA said going into this year that this year would be a little bit different. Now, I will say, after playing the beta, getting all the information that EA has put out for us to actually go ahead and observe and, get the knowledge of, there is one thing that I will say is will never be the same as it once was. So let's go ahead and break down first things first. What is EA doing this year? What is this huge thing that they're doing? What is this thing that they're actually trying to focus on? And that is honestly changing up how you build your team. In previous years, we have seen everyone build their team the exact same way. Get the best players possible, get them on your roster, and that is it. That's all that people wanted to do. Then last year and the year before that, people have changed how they play MUT. Now it's, okay, I want to create a theme team. I want to create a theme team of my favorite NFL team, bring it into MUT, and create the best theme team possible. EA did a really good job at going in and giving us team standouts, team builders, and other different cards that really went ahead and improved the whole system of being able to create the theme team that you want to create as well as possible. So again, EA did a really good job with that. Now, next year is completely different than the last year and a half. And the reason why is because it's no longer about, it is about a little bit about building your best theme team possible, but it's more or less now about weighing your options on what do you want in your game, in your team. And depending on how you play would depend on the makeup of your team. So let's start off right away by talking about what's different when it comes to the actual game, when it comes to building your team. So normally, I've said this many times in videos, but normally when you build your teams, okay, you're going to go ahead and go over to the right-hand side, and you're going to go ahead and choose whatever chem you want. So obviously, you might want lockdown, balanced though. Obviously, that's a fan favorite for a lot of people, and then they like to use sprinter or brawler and kind of mix and match what they want. And obviously then they have the team chems. Well, next year it's not going to be that easy, that simple. No longer are you going to be able to run multiple chemistries as easy as you once were able to. And that's something that's huge about Madden 22, that is making it more about choices rather than just having it your way. I don't know why this ended up being a McDonald's. Wait, is it Burger King, McDonald's slogan? However you, I forget which one it is. But this ended up being that kind of slogan because that's pretty much how this is. So now when you load into MUT 22, what you're going to see right away is one thing. These cards are going to look completely different because now when you go ahead and go onto your upgrade screen window, you're not going to have this bottom tier at all. This bottom tier is gone. What is going to be on this card is this top tier and this middle tier, and that's it. Now, will they add different things when it comes to changing your team chemistry? Obviously, yes. We don't know how power-ups look yet. We have to wait and see what power-ups end up being like. But at this moment, all this right here is gone, and it's just the X Factor's abilities and upgrading your cards. Now, how is this going? What am I talking about? Well, I've said this in many videos, but there's actually a different there's another little tab right here right before team strategy that's called specialist, that's called strategy. Now, strategy is plain and simple. What it does go ahead and have, it has your unit, it has your playbooks, your offensive, defensive playbooks. It also has, I believe, your head coach, and then it has 3 different slots at the very bottom right here. So imagine these 3 slots being blank right now. Now, these 3 slots, on the left here, you're going to see a slot that says strategy 1, strategy 2, strategy 3. Now, these are where you put your team chems for your team. This is why it's so much different and more about choices rather than just having it your way. Because now you have to choose. You got your offense, defense, and your physical chem that you have to choose what you want. So, for example, you might get, okay, I want to have balanced though, lockdown, lockdown, and then I want to have, sprinter. Well, you can do that. That can be your system. Somebody else might want to have go deep, lockdown, brawler, right? But you have to choose what you want. Now, these all come down to strategy cards. Now, if you play 2K, you probably know what strategy cards are, but put it simple, what these strategy cards are pretty much a card that you can unlock in the game, that has different tiers to different chem levels. So, for example, if you want to have balanced though in offense, you need to get a Balance O strategy card. Now, this strategy card might be a tier 5 or a tier 10 or a tier 15 or a tier 20 all the way up to tier 50, but you got to get one of those and then you put them in that slot, and now it's going to boost your whole entire team. Based on the beta, it says your whole entire team. That might just be strictly to your offense, but it boosts pretty much every single person on your team at the moment with that, with those chem boosts for whatever card you put in there. Now, this is actually really interesting because what this does is completely eliminates the whole idea of training. Because in the past, it was, okay, in order to go ahead and put sprinter on all your players. Let me go ahead and just do the math real fast, guys. So on your defense, right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 players. Okay, this is 5, that's 22, 23, probably more than one tight end, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 players. Let me do the math there. Times that by 34 times 800, right? 27,200 training. Now, when you look at day one, and day one normally training is like 40 coins per training, that's way more than that, probably like 55 coins per training. That's almost a couple million coins worth of training that you're completely bypassing because no longer is there training to get these strategy cards. Now, you might get these strategy cards through training, but it's a million coins you're saving on just sprinter, having to put it on all your players. You get a strategy card, you can put it on all your cards there. Yeah, it is very, very different. Same thing with, of course, having the different chems. Everything is so different. You're saving training. You're not spending the training you were before. That's interesting. So that's number one. It's now about choices. It's about having the correct choices, and every team will be different because every team has different choices. Every team's going to have, choices they want to make here or there, or they just want to go ahead and, do this, and this. Everything is different. That's number one. Number two, now, because we saw the Gameday, dynamic Gameday experience. Again, like I said, at the moment, we do not know if this will go ahead and impact you in MUT. We're hoping not, but it could be added to MUT. Right now, in the beta, this Gameday experience is added to MUT. Okay, I'll say that 100%. Online games is added to online games right now in the beta. It's added to franchise mode in the beta. It's added to everything in the beta. Now, will that be in the beta? Will it be in the real game once the real game comes out? We don't know. We have no idea right now for EA how they're going to do this Gameday, dynamic Gameday experience. But I will say one thing. In your team visuals now, in MUT 22, it used to be your coach and uniforms. Now it's your stadium. Your stadium has now been added to your team visuals. And the fact they added that means one thing and one thing only. It will most likely be in MUT. And if it is in MUT, when it comes to your team visuals, we talked about in the video yesterday, this is something very, very important to make sure you understand is you're going to have to choose the correct stadium that does revolve around what you want to go ahead and see. So, for example, we go ahead and go through here, right? And we look at a very, where is it at? Let me see. They show the whole entire oh, here we go. So here is what you got to make sure you check out, because every stadium has a different momentum factor. Now, different factor to the actual game day experience. Now, I talked about it in my video yesterday. I made a video on the main channel talking about this, and I didn't go in depth about this. I just kind of kind of said how I hated the fact it would be a MUT, and I didn't go in depth. I should have went more in depth, but I didn't have this video at the time. And the second channel, guys, make sure you check it out on the second channel. One was hitting 300 subscribers over there, but on the second channel, we did go ahead and go more in depth about everything about when it came to this video, and we did talk about the game day experience outside of just MUT, outside of just the momentum factor, because yes, they did take something from NCAA to momentum factor, but I will give EA props. Like I said in the second channel yesterday, they did expand more on the momentum factor, and I will say it actually does, you know, help out a lot. But with that in mind, guys, this is where the big thing happens, is that because based on your visual stadium, everything's going to be different. Everyone's going to have to choose whatever they want to have as their visual advantage when it comes to being in the stadiums. And the game day dynamic is going to be huge, because depending on what stadium you use depends on what ends up happening in the game. So guys, it's going to be an interesting year. It will be very, very interesting year. And the last thing we're going to talk about, guys, for this year is, for next year, it's going to go ahead and be selling cards. So EA has done a very next level move on avoiding people from buying coins, right? The way they're going to stop people from buying coins is now, whenever you sell a card, like for example, you sell Trevor Lawrence right here, normally you could sell him for whatever price tag you want, no issue at all. That is no longer the case. So now how his price will be dictated is the last 100 transactions, the medium price will be his medium price, and then a cap will be hit for how much you can sell him for based on his medium price. There is no lower cap at the moment, so sniping right now is still intact in MUT 22, but EA has said that they might go ahead and add a cap for MUT 22 for the low amount, meaning you can't put it below a certain amount, which will hinder sniping and destroy sniping as we know it. Now, EA claims right now, they did like frequent questions and answers, and they said, like, will sniping be the same? EA's response was, just snipe the card thing before 100 transaction goes through, and you'll be absolutely fine. Meaning that they probably will add the lower cap, and it will destroy sniping. So sniping will most likely be destroyed in MUT 22. That also means that selling cards now are going to be straight, forward and simple. No longer will it be like you have to guess the price if no cards are up. You will now know exactly what the card goes for and exactly what to sell for. We are now all robots for EA Sports. Pretty much plain and simple. Will Madden 22 be great? I will say one thing. With everything going on and making this game more realistic when it comes to next gen, not current gen, next gen, it's a lot. It's a lot. Will it be great? Yes, obviously is a personal preference, a personal question, a personal answer. I think it will be different. I think, like EA CEO said, next year will be a little bit different. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the best way to explain it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.